Hello YouTube, this is George here and Happy New Year. This video is going to demonstrate a couple of things. For example, I've heard people complaining about s30v chipping, and that's I don't really understand why they say something like that, because my experience with s30v is primarily with Spyderco's paramilitary tool and this Benchmade 940, and perhaps I would say that, like, when the edge is grinded very thin, they could get they could chip a little bit, but I believe like that would happen to any steel when the edge is grinded very thin. I think often people take it out of context, saying the s30v chips. But we got to understand what is the situation that the blade chips. Anyways, today I'm going to demonstrate the how strong this blade is, because I've done this before. I'm going to crack this coconut into half with this blade. You could say this is abusive use, really, but I've done this before and the blade survives. Obviously the edge gets really dull afterwards. The other thing is, I would tell you that this access lock combined with the steel partial liner here, as well as the aluminum alloy handle, it's actually very sturdy. To be honest, I am a little bit worried because I've done this before and the blade survives. I cut myself one time by accident, but the blade lock did not fail. The blade didn't develop any catastrophic failure. But who knows? Like, I know if I did do this all the time, someday this thing is probably gonna break. So we'll see. First, I'll demonstrate the initial sharpness. I put about maybe less than 15 degrees angle on. Let's see, we can do some macro just to show you that this thing is very thin. I put a very thin edge on both sides, so you can't blame s30v if it does chip, because this is thinner than the factory edge. But I will tell you that this thing is very sharp, because as ugly as it may look right now, cutting phone book paper, it's no problem. Of course, that's before we do this experiment. Before I start, I will warn you that do not try this at home. It's a very dangerous, very dangerous thing to do, because I've definitely cut myself once before. So if you did injure yourself trying to reattempt this experiment, don't blame me. It's actually a very interesting way to open a coconut. First you just cut open the top with a knife, and this is very soft, and then you there's a hole in there. Basically it's covered only by the soft flesh. Use the knife's tip and you can cut a hole, and then you can just drink the water from it. I've done all that already. Anyways, let's begin. Just make sure that I am in frame. Yep. So what happens is that coconuts have a the pattern actually goes up and down. So I'm just trying to basically split it through where the pattern that vertical fiber is. It's very hard actually. Any pocket knife that can survive this thing can survive doing this. I would say it's a very strong pocket knife. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to take, but hopefully not too long. making sure we're in frame. Yep. Okay. You can see it's not easy job. It requires a lot of strength and patience. And I tell you, if the locking mechanism does fail, it's also very possible it's gonna stab my hand. So I definitely warn you that do not try this at home, and I'm doing this just to demonstrate to you that these Benchmade knives are pretty tough. They're built to endure. Okay, still in frame. I've definitely abused this thing quite a bit. I mean, what I'm doing right now is it's very likely Benchmade do not approve, but sometimes you gotta crack a coconut to make an omelette, if you know what I mean. I hope you guys had a happy new year so far. The coconut is actually covered by this very tough fabric, sort of like a natural material. I think it's tougher than wood. These things are very I mean they're probably about 2-3 millimeters thin, but damn, like it's very tough to actually open. Shit. Okay, I feel like I have to try a different entry, like some right here. I'm trying to be quite careful because I don't want to get stabbed by this thing, you know. It's probably somewhat dull by now. Actually, we'll test the sharpness first. We'll test if we lost the edge completely. Actually, it's not too bad. So you can see it's still slicing quite good. So the edge is doing quite fine. Once the edge gets dull, I will do a separate video showing you how I sharpen this knife. It's a very dangerous way I sharpen it, but I've come up with a way to basically a poor man's Edge Pro sharpening system, where I basically sharpen free-handed. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. Frankly, I worry that I can't actually open this thing on camera. Shit. I don't remember this being this tough before. But you gotta give it to the access lock. It's pretty damn amazing. I mean, Coldsteel does a lot of their videos proving that their triac lock is the toughest lock there is on folding knives. But I mean, there may be. Look, just making sure I'm in frame. Great, I didn't actually capture that in the video, but you can see I crack this bit open. But as I can see more and more of the coconut, this is a very thick coconut. Ironically, I tried to capture this on camera, and I picked a really thick coconut. But as I was saying, the triac lock may be very tough, like the Coldsteel demonstrates to you. But really, how tough do you want a how tough can you really want from a folding knife? I mean, Benchmade Axis lock is tough enough for me, if you know what I mean. And after all, I can only say that as tough it is, I've handled the triac lock by Coldsteel before. They're not very smooth. They're not very smooth locks. The Benchmade Axis lock is very smooth. Open it one-handed, no problem, and it's plenty tough. So I really enjoyed the Benchmade Axis lock. Frankly, I don't know if I can open the damn thing today. It's just proven too thick, but you can see I've managed to crack open bits and pieces of this thing, and this damn thing is thicker than the blade blade itself. So, and the blade is fine. And let's see how the s30v chipped so far. Let's see the sharpness. To be honest, I don't see a problem with it. See, it's still slicing the phone book paper reasonably good. Of course, it sustained some damage, but if you can cut phone book paper like this, you'll probably not have too much problem using this for daily use. So let's just cut open some normal printed paper. Oh, by the way, should be Happy New Year. See, it's not really, it's still a very usable edge. So honestly, I don't really know what the fuss is about. I think if the heat treatment is done right, s30v should do just about everything you should expect from a knife. Yeah, the damn thing is sure is pretty tough for a small knife like this. Benchmade 940. I approve it. Have a happy new year, everyone. See you next time.